Welcome back, and we are almost done with this assignment. So here's my page where I left off, and here is what I want it to look like. So my top div's done, my left div's done. My main is not really done yet, but I have done the nav bar, which is the hard part. I've got an H1 on this page. Let's refer to the instructions. So steps 15 through 17 are all just nav bar related. So below the nav bar, there's a centered headline one. I think I already have that. I do. Piranha's on an escalator, but I said it needs to be centered. And so it's an H1 and it's within the main. So I'm going to use a descendant selector. So this means all H1s that are within the main. Now I know this page only has one H1, so I could have just addressed it as such. Alright, that's all that means. I'm going to take a look at it. No big deal there. There is an image called trailer with a width of 200 pixels. So that image is known as trailer. I got an ID of trailer, so I'm going to address it as such. So width of 200, and I think it has a padding of like, I don't know, 10 pixels or something. Margin of 10 pixels. Okay. Let's have a look at it. Okay, it's also clearly floated to the left because there is text flowing around it. Alright. So that's a good example of why I don't validate. Because I know that I just screwed up somehow float left. I didn't do it correctly. I don't know what I did, but I know it was wrong, and surely it was, right? I spelled something wrong. If you apply a property and nothing happens, then you messed up. What is the other thing I was supposed to do here? Oh, the image is a link, right? I kind of snuck that one in on you. You could imagine if you were at a movie review website, you would click on this and it would take you to some homepage for Piranhas on an Escalator. Remember I was bragging I know how to spell this? Oh, I do. It just looks wrong. Alright, so that means take my image, right? This is HTML, and wrap it in a link, right? So wrap it in an anchor tag is the other way to say that. Alright, so opening and closing. Right, that image is now a link. Doesn't go anywhere, but I can cross this off. Perfectly reasonable thing to do, make an image a link. Insert some text which wraps around the image. That's my way of saying insert that ipsum lorem text, which we did earlier, and apply a float to the image, which we already did. The part that we haven't done is the text should be justified 12-point Verdana. So the text is in this paragraph here. So let's go after that. So I'm not going to assign an ID, although I could. Instead, I'm going to do things like this. So that means every paragraph that's within the main is going to have some properties. And they're going to have a font family of Verdana, font size of 12, is that right? 12 point? And it's going to be justified. And I'm just going to cross this off because I know I'm done with it. So that's font, I don't know, it's text align. Justify. Let's see what we get. So the paragraph is now justified. It doesn't look good, but that's okay. Probably better if it was a smaller font, but I'm just trying to follow instructions. At the bottom of the main div, there's a footer. Okay, so that's accurate. I already made the footer, but I do need to style it. And I'm also saying set the positioning to absolute. I know we're not great with absolute and relative positioning. Recall that the main container is relative, which allows us to position things absolutely inside of it. And I'm also saying look at the callout. Right? So I'm saying the footer has font size 75%. So my selector is going to be footer. Alright. Font size 75%. What else? Background is E. And Sorry, I got so many windows open. 2 pixels above the bottom, alright? So that is referencing the relative positioning, or the absolute. You see, brain fried. Position, absolute. And if I want it 2 pixels above the bottom, I'm going to say bottom. I'm going to say bottom 2 pixels. Alright, and so that should put it where I want it. There's a little bit more left to do. It's not going to be too exciting. Right, it's right there, and it's kind of just doing this weird float deal. Let me just finish this out. I actually, oh gosh, bottom. Well, that explains a little bit. Save that, refresh it. Now it's actually in the div. Before it was just, I don't even know what it was doing before. The weird thing about this footer is that it is not very wide. If I gave it a background color, you'd be able to see that. Well, oh, it does have a background color, but it just doesn't show up well. I'm going to do that just so you can see it. Right, you see it gets cut off. So I'm going to give it a width of 100%. And I'm also going to do a text align center. Now the interesting thing is, when it was really narrow like that, you can't center the text within it because it essentially already is. But now, that's all I needed. Right, so I had to give it a width, and you see there is 2 pixels of space right there because I said bounce it off the bottom by 2. There's that. So external style sheet, so that means we're going to need to take this embedded style sheet and turn it external, and CSS and HTML are valid. I know the HTML is valid. I don't really know how the CSS wouldn't, but I will run it through because every line did something kind of deal. So, I mean, it's possible, but I'd be kind of a little bit surprised. Now I'm really surprised that it did work because I was so confident. Usually that's not how things work. So external style sheet. You do that on assignments all the time. I'm not going to do that in this video. So that's good. And so external style sheet means instead of this embedded style sheet, you're going to have a link. The relationship's going to be style sheet. You're going to give it a path. And so I don't need to do that in this video. And you can see our final product is here. And I would say that looks a lot like that. It doesn't look exactly like it. I change my mind between when I write the instructions and when we actually do them. Right? Notice this is quite a bit different. That's okay. If you read the instructions, they were very vague. They were like, give it a color, make sure that the colors change when they hover over it. It's functional. Doesn't go anywhere. But this looks like a winner to me. So practice those skills. The final is not going to be this page, not going to be a similar layout, but you can be certain it's going to have columns, right? This only has 2 columns, so to speak. Right? It's fair game for me to give you 3 columns. There's going to be a little bit of absolute positioning, probably just 1 or 2 elements. I'll try my best to walk you through it, just like here. I kind of did. Right, 2 pixels above the bottom. Here in the instructions, I say absolute. I don't expect that you guys are experts on that, but I do expect that with a little bit of direction, you should be able to get it. Certainly going to have to do a form and a table, but really, when you look at them and you're just doing simple ones like this, it's really nothing to be very afraid of, I don't think. All right. So, thanks for watching. Good luck, and I will see you for the final.